Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Campbell, and welcome to the Tao of Nick. It's a pleasure to have you all here, and truly welcome back. I'm pretty excited about this video because whether or not it's your first time or you're joining us again, I wanted to recap everything that I had discussed so far. And for the first time, I have jotted down any note at all. I've just jotted down the titles of all of my videos, or at least the topics of all of my videos. And I even have my computer here with, just to show you a little bit of my life here, the videos and their topics and their titles, and if I need to reference it, it's all right here. So if you see me looking down or to the side today, that's what's going on. I have a lot to talk about with you. I am trying to balance a heavy workload. I am blessed, truly blessed, to have full-time work with the opportunity of overtime, and I've been taking full advantage of that. I'm also working on a new opportunity in life that I will be sharing with all of you very soon, and I am over the moon excited about that. So as soon as that is a little more flushed out, I'll give you some more information. What do we talk about here as 2020 comes to an end? I watched my introduction again for the first time since I made that. I released that one back on September 7th, 2020. And today's date is Monday, November 30th. And it's funny, it both feels like a long time ago and like it just happened. But that introduction is pretty cool. If you haven't watched it in a while, go check it out again. I was so nervous to even get in front of the camera. I didn't know how to speak. I certainly didn't have any notes and I wasn't prepared. And something like I want to say it was a 20-minute-ish video that I had started with ended up down into that 2-minute and 49-second introduction that you saw. And I had a lot of help from my brother at that time. He has been a major inspiration through all of this. He's truly just so talented, and I'm so lucky to have him as part of my life. Another thing that I just want to share how grateful I am is we just had Thanksgiving. And this year, sitting around the table, there was myself, my brother, my mother, my father, mom and dad, I don't call them mother and father, and my grandpa. And it was a little weird because, that's only about a third of our family represented, just those 5 people sitting around the table. But we made a big effort to not make it weird. At the time, I don't think any of us, that wasn't the goal of Thanksgiving at that time, but it is how it turned out. And I'm so wonderfully grateful for my family, my whole family, truly, because each and every one of them has seen me grow up, has seen why the Tao of Nick is named the Tao of Nick, and why I have a story to tell. And I'm talking about all this because this is sort of a recap of the introduction and maybe some things that I didn't get to say. So before I continue to gush for the rest of this video, let me dive into the next, actually 4 videos, because they really were one major topic. They are the 4 cardinal emotions as I see them: fear, anger, sorrow, and joy. They're what got me here today. So just as I'll do a brief recap here. Fear has been one of the major driving forces of my life. And it was the first thing that I talked about. It's the very first topic that I dove into. And as I mentioned early on, fear was often masked by anger. And anger is, if you've ever met me personally, I'm 6 foot tall, I weigh a couple of 100 pounds, and I'm gruff, got a beard, deep voice. There's no denying any of this. So anger was the easiest way for me to cover up the emotions that I was feeling and to push blame off on everybody else. Fear did generate a lot of energy, a lot of anxiety in me. And so I think that's part of the reason. I think I have fear to thank as well, or it helped me get to where I am. Anger was also such a driving force in my life because, as we'll talk about with sorrow, that is sort of the antithesis of my fear and my anger, because it just sucked all the life out of me. And that was my depression, existed within my sorrow. So I have, very interestingly, fear and anger to thank for the drive that I find within me now. I'm nervous right now. My pulse is definitely racing. I'm probably getting red. I don't even want to look at myself in the camera right now because that's a perpetual cycle. But then I actually have sorrow to thank as well, because my whole life wasn't this rage-driven mask of fear. I also had all of this time where my energy was just zapped out of me, and I spent, who knows, an infinite amount of time, I couldn't even tell you, sitting on the couch. That's okay, because during that time, at least I wasn't getting into trouble. You know, as I was growing up and starting to learn who I was one of those people who never lived their life in the middle. I was living at 0 or 11. There wasn't even a 10, there wasn't a 1. I was either all in or falling apart doing nothing. Most of the time, at least. There was also joy. It's so easy to think that joy is like the one ray of hope or the one positive in this sea of negative emotion. Because I would say that joy both pushed me forward and held me back just as much as the rest did. Because how often did I make decisions when I was in the best mood that I could ever be in? Man, how many times did I fall flat on my face? It's, again, not worth counting. Oftentimes, joy was a lie. So people assumed I was in a great place, in great shape, doing wonderful all the time. It just, unfortunately, wasn't the case. The lie of joy was potentially just as negative as any of the other emotions. But I have joy to thank too, because I do account myself to be a joyful person. I would not know joy now if I did not know joy then. And the next section was the power of words, part 1. And then the next video was the power of words, part 2. There was the power of action. And then the power of the written word. I did those 4 videos just before I took what was supposed to be a short break of 2, maybe 3 weeks. Let me actually look at the time here, and I'll tell you exactly how long it took me to get back together. So my short break video was released on November 1st. How interesting. Here I am sitting down to record again right at the end of this month. So before I get into that, let me just recap a little bit on the power of words. This topic will come up time and time again. I am such a firm believer, based on my own experience, about how powerful the words that we tell ourselves can be. We can identify very easily, and I'm sure everyone, I know I sure do, have these distinct memories of someone who said something to us. And maybe they were mean, or maybe they were kind, it could go any which way, But I guarantee, if I tell you, think for just a moment on something someone said, I can guarantee something will pop directly into your mind. Something does for me. What I didn't realize is that for every word someone else said to me, I was telling myself 1,000 times, 1,000 of those things. I was running this loop through my mind of telling myself whatever I thought I needed to hear, but when I didn't have control over it, I didn't realize that I was just basically hating on myself day after day after day. Whatever was going on at that time was probably not so bad, but the story I ended up telling myself was horrendous. When I look back on those times, I have to wonder what was so wrong, what was so bad. But now that I recognize my words, and actually this will eventually make even more sense when I do tell you about some of the new things that I have coming out on my horizon. Some new things that are happening within my life. Some people that I cannot wait to introduce you to. Some people that I've reconnected with during a pandemic where I changed my whole life and stopped talking to any number of people and have made my circles smaller and smaller and smaller. But it's all been for the best. I'm over the moon excited. I'm also so thankful for anybody who decided to hit that subscribe button, because this is cool. I feel better when I'm able to share, because I think there's very specific parts of life that need to be shared, like the 4 cardinal emotions, like the power of words and actions. But I also want to take some time to just share bits of my life with you, because we're all going through it. We all have different levels of pain and suffering that we're going through. We all have anxiety and fear over the last year. You know, it's okay. It's okay. I'm scared. I'm mad. I'm desperately sad. And I have to really dig to find joy. Or had to. Some days it comes naturally. But I forgive myself for the way that I felt then. I forgive myself because I know it's going to happen again. It's just life. So anyways, thank you all for giving me a little bit of time and then joining me again. I am really excited to share with you not just my thoughts and feelings, but also some of the journeys that I've taken, whether it be up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan or right here in Lake County, Illinois. I have some, I hope, pretty good footage to share with you. And I hope I'm able to share it with you in a nice, clean, and beautiful way, because I don't want to just bring you on a journey of my life. I also want to bring you on a journey of my community. If you're the type of person who would like to make a change or has made a change and is excited to, be a part of life or whatever it is, just know that I bet you can.